From the beginning of time, man has always had a pursuit of the best quality of life possible. That quality of life is not possible without resources. The form of resources we have accumulated has changed over time from cowrie shells, state-controlled money, precious metals, real estate, and stocks and bonds. Over the past 100 years, the world has been dominated by the US dollar and its reserves. But everything that has a beginning also has an end. A new financial revolution is upon us with the emergence of a digital economy. The way we earn, spend, and accumulate resources is fundamentally changing. A new asset has appeared that the wealthy have overlooked. Bitcoin has become the best performing asset of the past decade by far. With only 21 million ever in existence, there are more millionaires and billionaires in the world today than there are Bitcoin. Just by holding 0.25 Bitcoin today will put you in the top 1% asset holders in the world in the next 5 to 10 years. If you would have invested $100,000 in Bitcoin in 2013, today it will be worth more than $15 million. Bitcoin billionaire Raoul Pal says, Bitcoin's performance is so dominant and so all-encompassing that it is going to suck in every single asset narrative dry and spit it out. Never before in my career have I seen a trade so dominant that holding any other assets makes almost no sense. This is not an industry you can afford to ignore. If you want to remain in business, then you must adapt. Are you offering services in Bitcoin? Are you accepting payments with digital currencies? Have you adopted blockchain technology? Blockbuster Video at one point was the most dominant video service in the world. They had the opportunity to be part of Netflix, but they ignored the changing technology. Where is Blockbuster today? Where will you be tomorrow? All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to an unscheduled live crypto talk tonight. This is for everybody. I'm doing this publicly. We are streaming on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, normally for the inner circle. But we did a crypto talk this morning where we talked about the Ethereum merge, what that means going forward. And in that, the whole point was about moving to proof of stake. So since we're talking about proof of stake, I wanted to do another live that says, what is the difference? Proof of work versus proof of stake. So that's what we're doing tonight. So go ahead and type your name in the chat box where you're listening in from. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share a suggestion, and it is up to you to make your own informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. All right, so let's see, who do we have on here so far? I see Teresa Carlson. Good evening. Fallon, hola, ¿cómo está? Hey, happy Saturday, Facebook user. Diane Nelson, good afternoon. Gina Muhammad from Philly. Facebook user, everyone Colorado, that must be Marnita. Brenda Boyd in, what is that? Maryville, Indiana, 35 miles of Chicago. Okay. Brenda Green from Oregon, Facebook user Brian Matthew. Good evening. So let's jump on into it. Let's see, Jacqueline Briggs, St. Petersburg, Florida. So let's jump on into this so that you guys can enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. See you, Adolph Hayes from Virginia. Now we always, anytime I do this, we got to look at the crypto markets real quick, see what's going on. So let me pull that up. Refresh what's going on in the crypto world. This is up 1.9% in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance 37.8%, but Bitcoin is still below 20,000 by 100. Up 1.1% in the last 24 hours. Ethereum is still below 1,500. So no major move there except for Ripple. Ripple's been on a tear the last 24 hours, up 12.5%. All right, so the first one we're going to look at here is proof of work versus proof of stake. Good evening, Janelle from Colorado. Proof of work and proof of stake are two different methods to validate cryptocurrency transactions. If you're new to the world of crypto, you probably have heard of both proof of stake and proof of work. These two concepts are essential to cryptocurrency transactions and security. They are key components of blockchain technology and how it works. Proof of stake and proof of work are known as consensus mechanisms. Both, in different ways, help ensure users are honest with transactions through incentivizing good actors and making it extremely difficult and expensive for bad actors. This reduces fraud, such as double spending. To understand what the difference is between proof of work versus proof of stake, it helps to know a bit about mining. In proof of work, verifying cryptocurrency transactions is done through mining. In proof of stake, validators are chosen based on a set of rules depending on the stake they have in the blockchain, meaning how much of that token they commit to locking up to have a chance to be chosen as a validator. In either case, the cryptocurrencies are designed to be decentralized and distributed, which means that transactions are visible to and verified by computers worldwide. Computers on the network have to agree on what happened to verify transactions. If a computer tries to manipulate or commit fraudulent transactions on a network, it will be known through the public, immutable nature of the blockchain. Both consensus mechanisms have economic consequences that penalize malicious actors who try to disrupt the network. So, proof of work versus proof of stake, which one is better? Well, proof of work is a competition between miners to solve cryptographic puzzles and validate transactions in order to earn block rewards. So, again, for those of you who still believe that cash is king, that Bitcoin is made up out of thin air, that is not the case. Action needs to be taken, and Bitcoin is a reward for completing that action. So, proof of stake implements randomly chosen validators to make sure the transaction is reliable, compensating them in return with crypto. Each choice has unique advantages and disadvantages. The downsides of proof of work. Proof of work requires a significant amount of energy to verify transactions. Since the computers on the network must spend a lot of energy and operate a lot, the blockchain is less environmentally friendly than other systems. Another problem is some raised is that because of the competition between miners for rewards, a small number of mining pools control the blockchain, a kind of de facto centralization. It is important to note, though, that mining pools are made up of individual miners or smaller groups of miners who are free to pool their hash power if they no longer agree with the direction of the larger mining pool. Downsides of proof of stake. The main issue with proof of stake is that it requires an often enormous initial investment. For example, the Ethereum proof of stake, if you want to be a part of that validator pool, you must lock up 32 Ethereum. 32 Ethereum. Yeah, 32. Well, at more than $1,000 a coin, we're looking at about $50,000 worth right now. You must purchase enough of the native token of that crypto to qualify to be a validator, which is dependent on the size of the network. In theory, people must be wealthy or earn enough money to buy a network stake, leading to an exclusively rich blockchain. As cryptocurrencies rise in market value, this issue could become worse. So that's what I talked about this morning. Right now, the cost is 50K. But what is that cost going to be in 3 years? What happens when Ethereum is worth 10,000 a coin, 20,000 a coin, 40,000 a coin? You're talking about you're going to need to be a millionaire to be able to be a part of that. So just keep that in mind. It's to me, If they say, well, same thing with proof of work, how many people can actually mine Bitcoin from home? Nobody. Not anymore. Not like you used to back in the day. The amount of operating power is crazy. But then again, proof of stake. How many's going to be able to do that? How many people have an extra 50,000 lying around that they want to lock up for 12 months? Final words, which one should you choose? Well, proof of stake and proof of work both have pros and cons, and it's important to acknowledge that no system is perfect. Every system has its strengths and weaknesses, and which one you think is better ultimately depends on your point of view. In the end, it isn't an either or choice, and both consensus mechanisms will be part of cryptocurrency for the long term. All right, you guys get that? Is that make it clear? Proof of work, proof of stake. I know when we do the 5-day challenge, somebody always asks me that question. All right, let's do the next one up. Let's talk about this. Top questions about proof of stake and staking answered. Top questions. Hello, Manny O'Brien from Tampa. Great win today for Howard. Howard, Manny, you know better than coming on here talking about Howard University now, right? That's all right. It's all right. I support my HBCUs as long as Morehouse is first. Good evening, Tammy Renee and Yolanda Eland. All right, Ethereum's move away from proof of work has many people asking how to get involved in staking and how it works. We have answers. With Ethereum's, I didn't I didn't know that. They played Morehouse today and Morehouse lost. We we're gonna pretend like I didn't know that today. With Ethereum's transition to proof of stake expected as early as September 2022, a multitude of questions and misconceptions around staking, Ether, and the workings of the consensus layer are all the more relevant to clarify. What are validators? What are validators? Well, one of the core components of proof of stake is a validator. Like miners on proof of work, validators are responsible for processing transactions on Ethereum and by doing so, helping secure the network. Anyone can become a validator and proof of stake by depositing staking a minimum of 32 Ether into the specific contract. The protocol then randomly selects participants to propose and vote on new blocks. 3 pieces of software are required to become a validator on Ethereum. You need an execution client, a consensus client, and a validator. There are more than 400,000 validators on the Beacon chain, the foundation of Ethereum's proof of stake network. Slots for new validators occur every 12 seconds to create a new block and send it out to other nodes on the network. What are epochs? Well, in blockchain networks, an epoch is a period of time that dictates when certain events will occur. Examples include the rate at which rewards are distributed or when a new group of validators will be assigned to validate transactions. Blockchain protocols that utilize epochs vary in what time period defines an epoch. With proof of stake Ethereum, an epoch occurs every 32 slots, which is 6.4 minutes. Each slot in an epoch represents a set time for a committee of validators, groups of at least 128 validators, to propose and attest to vote on the validity of new blocks. How do committees work in Ethereum? Well, in order to ensure fairness in the validating process, the Beacon chain randomly groups stakers together into committees of at least 128 validators and assigns them to slots. It is important to note, however, that the block proposer may or may not be a committee member for the specific slot. It's independent. How do validators get rewarded? Well, now that you understand validators, committees, and epochs, you can start to unpack how validators earn what's known as a block reward. And I already know in my brain, I have to do this, read this over and over and over again for me to get this. You got validators, committees, and epochs. Yeah, I'll be reading this one again. Anyways, now that you understand validators, committees, and epochs, you can start to unpack how validators earn what's known as a block reward. In each epoch, there are 32 sets of committees. After a committee is assigned to a block, one random person out of the 128 in the committee is selected as the block's proposer. That person is the only one who can propose a new block of transactions, while the other 127 people vote on the proposal and attest to the transactions. Once a majority agrees, the block is added to the blockchain, and the validator who proposed the block receives a variable amount of Ethereum based on a formulaic calculation. Now, how much is that? I already know Bitcoin is 6.25 since the last halving. It used to be 12 Bitcoin for every reward. So let me look at this here. Staking rewards. In order to incentivize those that have Ethereum to stake in the network, validators will be rewarded for performing their assigned duties. Every 6 minutes, a validator is assigned a duty and is rewarded if it is performed. This reward is a sliding scale based on total network stake. So if total Ethereum stake is very low, the return rate per validator increases, but as stake rises, total annual issuance increases to fund those validators. While they individually will receive less rewards, the current suggested payouts are as follows. So 1 million Ethereum validating, 181,000 max annual issuance, network issuance percentage 0.017%, max is 18.10%. According to Vitalik Buterin, these are maximum numbers and there are many factors that can decrease the total issuance amount. See, I'd have to actually do this so I can understand this nerd language here. Rough estimates on cost are $120 per year for a Beacon node and validator client. User must acquire the necessary 32 Ether and send it in a one-way transaction to the deposit contract. Stakers can't directly sell staked Ether while it's staked. Yeah, I understand that. I'm going to save this one. Ethereum 2.0 economics. That is something to study. Let me keep that one bookmarked in my folder. All right. How are validators penalized for bad behavior? You guys ask, well, what does that mean by bad behavior? Well, there are penalties if validators behave dishonestly or go offline. For example, proposing multiple blocks, equivocating, or submitting contradictory attestations votes results in punishments called slashings, which means validators lose a percentage of their staked Ethereum. The amount of Ether slashed depends on the number of validators being slashed around the same time, otherwise known as a correlation penalty. It can range from 1% for a single validator to 100% of a validator's stake slash. I have a question. Remember, I don't know everything when it comes to crypto. I am always learning. My question is on the Ethereum validators. I know how the blockchain works, the Bitcoin blockchain. But on the Ethereum, these validators, what does it mean if they go offline? Is the software program automatically doing this? Or do they have to actually be in front of their computer? They get a notification that they were chosen and they have to do something physically. Or is everything software based and they're just it's automatically happening by program? I'm gonna have to research this some more so I have a clear understanding on how this is done. How is finality determined in proof of stake? Finality is a concept that transactions on a blockchain become immutable. It guarantees that data cannot be altered, canceled, or lost once included in the canonical chain. The time to reach a state of finality depends on the blockchain's latency level. Finality with proof of stake Ethereum is organized through a deterministic method. and what's known as checkpoint blocks. The first block in each epoch, every 32 slots, is a checkpoint. Participants then vote on pairs of checkpoints that are considered valid. That's my question there. How does this actually work? Participants then vote. I'm curious about that. I'm gonna have to research that. Once a checkpoint gains a supermajority vote, two-thirds of the total staked Ethereum, it becomes justified. When its child checkpoint gets justified, it is upgraded to finalize, and all previous epochs are also finalized. In essence, the difference between justified or finalized checkpoints depends on where it sits in the timeline. As finality on proof of stake requires at least two-thirds supermajority vote, an attacker could prevent finality by voting with at least one-third of the total Ethereum staked. But this is where the inactivity leak comes in. If the chain doesn't reach finality for more than 4 epochs, the inactivity leak will reduce staked ether from validators voting against the majority and allows honest validators to finalize the chain. Can a 51% attack happen when Ethereum moves to proof of stake? A 51% is when a group of miners or nodes have enough ownership over a blockchain's hash power to alter how it functions. While it is still possible to do this with proof of stake Ethereum, an attacker would need to have 51% of the total staked Ethereum, which would mean controlling billions and billions of dollars worth of Ethereum. However, even if an attacker could use his or her influence to create an altered version of Ethereum due to a majority voting power with proof of stake, the community could mount a counterattack. Honest validators and participants could keep building on the minority chain and encourage others to do the same. Overall, despite being extremely expensive to launch and maintain, the higher the number of participants on a network, the more difficult it becomes to launch a successful cyber attack. So a lot of hackers, they try to get these new blockchains in the early stages when there isn't a lot of participants. That's why whenever you see a project, outside investors always look at how many's involved. If you take Nugent, for example, the blockchain shows that there's only 380 addresses. That ain't nothing. For this to be considered really serious, you need to have tens of thousands, if not more than 100,000 addresses. Now, I already know for a fact that Nugent has at least maybe 30 to 40,000 different addresses. But since they have it locked up on their dashboard, it's only being recorded as one address. So according to the blockchain, only 380 individuals. Now here's my question though on this. I wonder if this 380 addresses is what's being counted for people who pull it onto Trust Wallet and MetaMask, or are they counting the different addresses in LBank, or is LBank only being counted as one? Just like Nugent itself is only being counted as one, even though there's thousands of people attached to it. I don't know if LBank is only counted as one, and all the transactions. Personally, I think, my opinion, I can't tell you this as a fact. In my opinion, the Nugent website is counted as one, and LBank is only being counted as one because there's no liquidity that the blockchain is reporting, and everything that's happening on LBank is internal. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I would love for somebody to prove me wrong. So if that's the case, and it believes so, because most of the people in the Nugent community are uneducated in crypto and had no idea how to move their Nugent coins off of the Nugent dashboard onto a DeFi platform like MetaMask or Trust Wallet. Only a few people. Our community knew how to do that. We knew all we needed was this contract address, and I did a live showing you how to do that. So it makes sense that there might only be 380 outside addresses outside of LBank and Nugent. So that's my theory. If anybody has a different theory, I'd love to hear it so I can think of any other alternatives. But anyways, get back to the point. So the point is you need to have a higher number of participants. That secures the system. So overall, despite being extremely expensive to launch and maintain, the higher the number of participants on the network, the more difficult it becomes to launch a successful cyber attack. Let's see, does anybody say anything about that? Nope. Right. Can I participate in staking without setting up hardware? Yes, you can do so with SaaS, software as a service providers. That's what SaaS means. Yeah, yeah. SaaS, short for software as a service, helps validators run and operate their clients' hardware for a small fee. For example, Green. I'm mining Green right now and I have multiple nodes, but I'm not mining it on my laptop. I'm using a third party SaaS called Vulture to mine. And it looks like, I'll show you guys, it looks like this. Show you my Vulture account. Right now it's mining 3 different coins for me. Green, um, what's the other one? Galvin, and I think Switch. Let me see. Hold on, let me log in. Got this, okay. Galvin, Green, and Switch. Yeah. So I'm mining 3 different nodes, and I'm paying $3 a month for each, or is it 5? I think it's $5 for the whole month. Comes up to $5. Yeah, why is this one already on 4? Oh, I'm using a different, why did I do this? Different service. This one's more expensive. Anyways, I'm paying about $5 each a month to do it for me, and that pays for itself long term. All right, so SaaS is short software service. This service allows users the benefit of earning block rewards without worrying about hardware specs, setup, node maintenance, and upgrades. See, that would be my choice. I'll pay somebody to do it. I'm not doing it myself. While validators do not have to provide access to keys that allow withdrawals or transfers of staked funds, validators are still at risk of SaaS operators acting in a malicious way or being subject to strict regulation and therefore requiring a higher degree of trust in a third party. Why is solo staking considered the best? Well, solo staking is viewed as the gold standard as it allows users to retain complete autonomy over their hardware and funds. Alongside solo staking, however, there are other methods such as SaaS and pooled staking. While all validators are required to stake a minimum of 32 ETH, staking as a service or pooled staking are more suited to people who are either uncomfortable handling the required hardware or can't meet the 32 ETH threshold. Here's what you should consider when deciding if you want to start solo staking. So I'm not going into all that. How can I participate in staking if I don't have 32 ETH? You got to do it a pool. Go with a group of people. You can join what's known as a staking pool. Pooled staking is a method suited for anyone unable to deposit 32 ETH, while it also removes the need to maintain hardware. As with SaaS, risks still involve trusting a third party to run and maintain the node, and will cost you some sort of a fee. Along with giving rewards for staking Ethereum, numerous staking pools offer a liquidity token that represent a claim on staked Ethereum and the rewards generated. Another benefit is that staking pools allow users to retain control over their funds and use staked Ethereum as collateral in DeFi applications. So, for example, anybody ever use Nexo, the Nexo app? It's a DeFi platform. I'm staking my Ethereum there and I'm earning interest on my Ethereum, I can also borrow from my own Ethereum. But what is Nexo using with that Ethereum? Well, Nexo can then turn into its own validator as well. And they can lock up the Ethereum and earn from that and pay everybody else inside the Nexo community. I don't know if that's what Nexo's doing, but that's what they could do. They're perfectly positioned to do that. When the merge takes place, what will happen to my staked Ethereum? Although it depends on the provider, unstaking Ethereum would not be allowed until after the Shanghai hard fork. Nonetheless, a derivative token called ST Ether, staked Ether, is freely tradable in the meantime. In addition, once withdrawals are enabled, the exit rates for validators will be staggered by the protocol to help prevent any market fluctuation or security risks. Yeah, there you go, Manny. Amazon Web Services, AWS, is a version of that. And welcome, Dorothy. Okay, according to the Ethereum website, only 6 validators may exit per epoch every 6.4 minutes. So 1,350 per day, or only 43,200 Ethereum per day out of 10 million. Furthermore, although Ethereum will still remain locked for a period of time post merge, validators will have immediate access to the fee rewards, which is the miner extractable value earned during the block proposals. Is staked Ethereum the same as staking Ethereum? How are they connected? No staking Ethereum. Oh, wait. No. Staking Ethereum is the process of depositing and locking up any amount of Ether to help validate and secure the consensus layer, the beacon chain, and receive rewards for doing so. On platforms like Lido Finance, users can stake their ether and receive staked Ether, which can be traded or used for other DeFi applications like lending. In essence, it allows users the option to continue trading or transacting while their Ethereum currency is locked in the deposit contract. Holders of staked Ethereum can also redeem their tokens for an equivalent or one-to-one amount of Ether along with accrued yields once the transition to proof of stake is complete. Other versions of staked Ethereum include Anchor, Beth for Binance, or Rocket Pool. Why isn't staked Ether pegged to Ethereum? Do I want to go through all this stuff here? No. Uh, but I do want to do this one. Does proof of stake help the rich get richer? A common argument amongst proponents of proof of work is that proof of stake favors the rich and reduces the rewards for those with less Ether. Although users earn a higher return proportionate to the amount of Ethereum staked, and some can run multiple validator clients, the fixed annual yield of 5 to 15% will apply to all participants, regardless of whether a single validator stakes 32 Ethereum or an institution stakes 100 Ethereum plus across multiple accounts. Both proof of work and proof of stake have levers that can be pulled by investing more money in one way or another. By buying more mining rigs or finding cheaper sources of energy, miners on proof of work can increase their computational power. By staking more Ethereum in proof of stake, people will have more chances to be selected to validate the transactions. The main advantage in terms of investment or of proof of stake is that unlike with proof of work, it offers lower ongoing costs, it is less energy intensive, and does not require constant upgrades to the mining setups that proof of work demands. But ultimately, supply and demand determines many of the costs to participate in both consensus mechanisms, and those costs will always fluctuate. All right, so that was a pretty good article. You guys should have a clear understanding now about proof of stake and proof of work. What about this one I saw this morning? Do I want to cover this? Ethereum proof of work forks, gift or grift? Ah, that's an interesting title. Okay, I'm gonna skim through this because this looks like to be pretty long. Let's see some of these topics here. Gift or grift? Ethereum will soon transition to a more energy efficient system for processing transactions, but prominent crypto personalities are hell bent on keeping the proof of work version of the chain alive. Why is that? Ethereum is finally set to embark on its long awaited transition to proof of stake, with this major update slated to happen next month. Well, it already happened. So, controversy and questions abound around what will happen to the deprecated proof of work network post merge. In spite of the fact that the Ice Age is supposed to freeze out proof of work miners with its difficulty bomb, there is a growing movement to keep Ethereum's old consensus mechanisms alive. Ethereum Classic. In 2016, Ethereum's community was in crisis. An exploiter ran away with around 5% of all Ether in circulation, and the nascent ecosystem was gripped by controversy. How should Ethereum proceed? The result was a hard fork, a backwards incompatible code change that created a new instance of the network, one where token balances were adjusted as the infamous DAO exploit never happened. So, in other words, they turned back the hand of time. But not everyone was on board. A subset of anti fork purists, along with some of Ethereum's chief trolls and detractors, continued to operate the old hack tainted chain under the moniker of Ethereum Classic. The spin off chain was hollowed out of its community, but it nonetheless vied with its sister network to be the true heir to the Ethereum throne. And it may have gotten close to its goal. ETC, the version of Ether on the Classic network, briefly seemed like it might flip Ethereum in value. Yeah, that was back in 2017, 18. The very first mining I ever did was Ethereum Classic, ETC. Spent a lot of money on those mining rigs, but it stole down and dropped. Like, let's look right now. Ethereum is worth 1,400. ETC, what rank is it now? Number 20. ETC is worth $34. But let's look at Ethereum Classic's history. Let's pull this up. So the people on this network are the purists. This is the original chain of Ethereum, Ethereum Classic. The Ethereum that you know today did a reset, just so you know. All right, come on, pull this up. Well, I can go all-time high. It did reach $167 at one point. All-time low 6 years ago, it was at 61 cents. And okay, I'll come back to that since it's still loading on me. Oh, 1 year. We'll come back to that. Ethereum Classic's bid for blockchain dominance ultimately failed, but it nonetheless set the stage for years of grifts, confusion, and debate. And now history repeats. On September 15th, Ethereum will finally, at long last, they swear this time, initiate its transition to a proof of stake system. The much postponed upgrade, which has been on Ethereum's roadmap since its inception, will dramatically cut the chain's carbon footprint in favor of a new system that proponents hope will also make the network more secure. But not everyone is excited about this. Some of Ethereum's miners, those who run computers to process and validate transactions on the current proof of work network, plan to keep it. Of course, they spent money. They spent time and energy to set up their mining operation. They don't want to lose that just to go to proof of stake. Without Ethereum's users and core developers, this forked network will be a crypto uncanny valley. It will look and feel like Ethereum, but it will only be a skeleton of the real thing, with apps and tokens floating around without usage or value. Things will break. Grifters will grip. Oh, I see a lot of scams on the horizon. You guys ready for this? Ready for the scams? I mentioned one earlier this morning on Crypto Talk. Mark my words. Those of you who have seen the OneCoins of the world, the other crypto businesses in the past 2 years that promise you we're going to double and triple your money. You lock your Bitcoin up with us, and we're going to give you compounding, all that kind of stuff. The new version is going to be dealing with Ethereum proof of stake. Stake your Ethereum with us, and we guarantee you a certain amount of Ethereum every single day, or every single month, a certain percentage. It's going to be Ethereum staking tools. I'm telling you right now, that's going to be the next new grift. You're going to start seeing it all over Facebook. The same people that be pumping up all these other programs, you're going to start seeing them promoting Ethereum proof of stake. Now, does that mean that every single one of these will be a scam? No, they won't be. But most of them will be. Your crypto education will allow you to be able to tell the difference. And I will be all over it as well, when I spot them. Okay. The virtue of the proof of stake over Ethereum's current proof of work consensus mechanism are a matter of heated debate. We won't get into the nitty-gritty of the debate here, but the essential part to understand is that a consensus mechanism is a set of rules by which nodes, the computers operating Ethereum's blockchain, process transactions. Okay, we've already covered all of this stuff. Fork consensus. Prominent crypto personalities, including Justin Sun and Chandler Guo, have both announced their intent to support Ethereum proof of work forks. Really? Justin Sun is staying with proof of work? And crypto exchanges like FTX and Sun-backed Polonia say they will allow users to trade forked Ether tokens. I would not do anything that's dealing with the proof of work on Ethereum. It's not going to last. That's like people saying, yeah, I know Netflix is out, but I still want to go to Blockbuster Video. I think I'm going to buy a Blockbuster Video franchise when everybody's running over the Netflix. Yeah, that's not. At best, you know what the new Blockbuster is? And I'm surprised I still see people do this. What are those things called? And when you go into the grocery store, is it called Redbox? I see people going in there and they can, I guess, order DVD right there on the spot or stuff like that. Redbox. And I'm like, is that still a thing? Why do people do that? You can just stream it. But I don't know. That's the new version of Blockbuster. So Fork Consensus, and I need to got a Redbox. Okay. Rather than a single piece of software, Ethereum, a network of computers, is better thought of as a nation state with a set of rules governing how it operates. If a bunch of people agree on changing the rules, their entire network doesn't suddenly update. They'll need to convince other people to jump on board. Sometimes these rule changes lead to a fork, where two or more new networks spring up with slight operational differences, each supported by some subset of the community. At a high level, the proof of work forks described by Sun and Guo will be exact duplicates of the main Ethereum chain, where the state of the original chain, meaning transaction history and token balances, is preserved. In the moment of the merge to proof of stake, users will suddenly have access to two or more different blockchains with identical token balances and smart contracts. How is that going to affect all of the other tokens on the Ethereum blockchain? Will those also be split too? See, this would be confusing me. But does a forked Ethereum mean all of your money will suddenly double or triple or quadruple depending on the number of forks? No, not really. Tokens are only worth as much as the market dictates. All right, yes, a good example. And this still hasn't loaded up. Let's refresh that. So even though you may have the same amount of tokens, who are you going to sell it to if there's nobody there to buy? September, far back is this? Okay, let's go back max. So if you don't have anybody to buy the token, then you just have tokens. So all right, so 2016 when this fork took place, we're looking at 75 cents or so. and then it jumped 2017. This is when Bitcoin, and that's June. I need to go December. Here we go. When Bitcoin got to its all-time high, Ethereum Classic got to $43.24 at that point. And then when Bitcoin went to $65,000, Ethereum Classic got to $136 a coin. All right, so now let's look at Ethereum's history. Hopefully this will spring up very quickly for me. There we go. Let's go to Max. So fork took place. And then December, Ethereum got to $1,300, December 17, 2017, when Bitcoin hit its all-time high of 20,000. But back down here, it was going neck and neck with ETC. They were almost flipping with each other. And then again, when ETC got to $100, Ethereum, ETH got to 4,182. And then when Bitcoin went to 69,000, Ethereum went to, well, all-time high here, $4,800. That was 10 months ago. All right. So tokens are only worth as much as the market dictates. Certain tokens, particularly the Ether, used to pay for transaction fees, could have some value on proof-of-work forks. Plus, crypto's meme-driven markets are no stranger to baseless speculation. So here's what I say. Based on history repeats itself. The proof-of-work version is only going to go down. It's only a matter of time. I personally wouldn't invest on that network. What else here? Gift or grift. So why would anyone breathe life into an empty copycat blockchain? Kevin Zhao of Deloitte Capital has been one of the loudest voices on Twitter, predicting that proof-of-work forks will proliferate after Ethereum's merge to proof of stake. The crypto journalist and author Laura Shin explained there's really two classes of incentives. The first, Zhao said, is a pure grift. Someone could just make a fork. They know it's probably not going to work, and they don't plan to support it. They're just going to get some free coins and then just dump them. That's what's going to happen. I predict this. The next 3 months, especially going into 2023, you're going to see the brand new shiny crypto business object. Everybody's got to jump on board for crypto, Ethereum staking and whatever. But they're going to be grifting. Or people are going to get into it not knowing that it's a proof of work and not proof of stake. Pump and dump. Hasu, a researcher at Ethereum infrastructure firm Flashbots and prominent voice in crypto circles, has called the idea of Ethereum proof of work forks that duplicate the original chain's ledger a completely stupid idea. Crypto is full of bad projects that only exist to dump on retail, but that doesn't make it okay to support them. The fact that ghost chains like Ethereum Classic still exist does not vindicate that point. All right. Yeah, they're thinly veiled cash grabs. Ethereum miners raked in over $600 million last month in rewards and transaction fees. If miners want to put their expensive hardware to use on a new chain, Zhao thinks they could do worse than an Ethereum proof of work fork. All right, what else here? Post check. No. Validate it takes. No. All right, that's all I wanted to reach on this one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a better understanding of proof of work versus proof of stake now than you did before we got started tonight, type me in the chat box. Let me know. Do you have a better understanding now than you did when we first got started, type me in the chat box. I want to know if this got you. If you're still confused, then definitely join the ILCA community because I'll be going over this over and over and over and over again. And sometimes repetition is the mother of all learning. You got to see it, hear it, do it all over again. So, what's coming next? Well, tomorrow night, same time as tonight, I will be doing an ILCA opportunity call. How would you like to make money? Earning while you're learning selling picks and shovels. Not only is it just an opportunity, but I'm going to show you a tool that we've created to help you. We have our marketing system. I'm going to be showing part of it off tomorrow night. ILCA marketing to market this and how that's all going to work for you guys. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I will be doing it on Zoom, but I will also stream on Facebook. Let me put the Zoom link. How can I do that? We're gonna post that. If I go on Facebook, Marnita, I just sent you that Zoom link. Please post that for me. But I will also put that Zoom link in our Telegram group, those of you that are VIPs, and I'll be posting it on Facebook and everywhere for those of you that want to join on Zoom. But I will be streaming on Facebook as well to see that. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, tomorrow night. And then we'll be back with Inner Circle Talk on Monday. And then Monday's a countdown, 1 week away from the next 5-day challenge. And you don't want to miss that. September 26th, the next 5-day challenge. So that is it, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. So thank you for being here. There you go. Marnita just posted it. And we will be, yeah, Zoom link for tomorrow night. I'll be back 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Crypto Talk Monday morning for the Inner Circle, ILCA Secrets. And I'm telling you guys now, you want the marketing system. ILCAmarketing.com. ILCAmarketing.com. Having a system like that is why I became a 7-figure earner to begin with. Knowing the right tools to use. So take care, everybody. Bitcoin Brandon out, and I will see you all tomorrow night.